Hello and welcome to Crafting Inspirations. I'm Joanne, a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator here in Newfoundland, Canada. I love to connect, inspire, and motivate new and exciting possibilities through stamping. Each month I take a stamp set that Stampin' Up! Currently has in one of their catalogs, and I reproduce 4 to 5 cards using that one stamp set. So this is the last week for Free as a Bird stamp set that can be found in the annual catalog the Stampin' Up! Has for 2020. It's a beautiful stamp set. It can be found on page 85 of the annual catalog. It consists of 12 clean mount stamps. The order number for it is 149468. I'll have the Canadian prices listed in my description below. It is a beautiful stamp set. It's got some nice sentiments on there, as well as some graphics with birds and flowers. The card that I'm demonstrating today, I took the guidance from Amanda Charlesworth, who is a demonstrator in the UK. So I want to say thank you to Amanda for demonstrating the card. I thought it was quite unique, so I decided to reproduce it today, just using a different stamp set, which is Free as a Bird, and just a little bit of a different design than what she had. But you should check her out. She's a great demonstrator. So I'm just going to turn my camera around now and we'll get started with the demonstration. So we're going to start this one right from scratch. I'm going to show you how to cut the paper in that. But my paper of choice today is Pretty Peacock and Very Vanilla, and I'm using the Designer Series paper from the Flowers For Every Season, and I'm going to be using this side of the paper, and on the opposite side has got the bigger flowers. But I figured for the birds in the Free as a Bird stamp set, these size flowers is more reasonable for the size of the birds. I didn't want any flowers that were bigger than the birds. So like I said, this is a clean mount stamp set. So I'm going to be putting these onto acrylic blocks now shortly, and we'll get started. But first we're going to cut our papers. So first we're going to cut our Pretty Peacock, and I'm just going to lay this down, and we're going to cut our paper at 4 1/4 on the 8 1/2 side. So we're going to cut up, and we'll use some of this in just a little bit. So now we're going to put some score lines on this. So I'm going to move my blade away. So what we're going to do, we're going to have it like a gatefold. So we would normally score this now at 5 1/2, but we're not going to do that. So half of 5 1/2 is 2 3/4. So I'm going to take this and do it at 2 3/4 and score. Then I'm going to take my paper out and score again on the opposite side at 2 3/4. And then I'm just going to bring my paper in, and I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to bring up the paper to this, where it goes from the brown of the score to the white of the measurements. So I'm just going to bring that up here on this side, and I'm just going to cut away just a smidgen of the paper, and I'll just show you now. This is how much I am cutting away. So that could be just tossed in the garbage. And then I'm just going to take our bone folder, and then we're going to score in, and we want to make sure that it is scored really good. So we're going to turn it over and score on the back, and then we're going to score this in as well. So we want to make sure. So, and this is what it looks like. Normally this would meet, but where we cut away a little edge of it is not quite meeting up. That's for the mechanism that we're going to be using. And then for the Very Vanilla, we're going to cut that down. I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2. So then this piece here I can use again for another card. And then I'm just going to cut this down to 4 1/8. And I'm just going to bring my blade back up this way. And in 5 3/8. And then that little piece can get tossed away. So this is for the inside of our card. For the inside of our card. And now we're going to want, I'm going to put some frames around here. So we're going to cut our sides. So our sides is 4 1/4. So we want to bring this into 4 1/8. That piece goes away. And we're going to bring this down now to 2. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. And then we're going to cut this at 2 5/8. And I'm just going to bring my block down. And then once again on this side, we're just going to cut a smidgen away for what we cut away. So then this is going to be our border here. I don't know if you can see it, but this is going to be our border for here. And then we're going to take our Designer Series paper, and I'm going to cut that down to 4. And then we're going to do this down to 2 1/2. And 2 1/2. And we're just going to bring this one back to that line where the white begins and cut away a smidgen of paper. So then this goes on top like so. So that's the layering portion of this card. And now we're going to take a piece of the paper that was left over in the Pretty Peacock. We're going to cut that at 3 by 4. By 4, and then this is going to come up here, and then we're going to cut this piece. We're going to cut that one there at 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. So that's going to be our on top, our layer on top, with a little bit of the Pretty Peacock showing. But now we're going to make our mechanism for this card. So what we're going to need is we're going to need another piece of the Pretty Peacock that is cut at 3 by 4. So that's going to get layered inside. And then I'm just going to take a couple of more pieces, and I'm going to cut those at 2. And at 2. And then I'm going to do this at 4. And then this piece, I don't know if you can see, I should have thought of that before, and cut this one at 4. And then we're going to score at 2. And this is for the mechanism of the card. Oh. So that's scored at 2. And this is scored at 2. So it's a lot of cutting and a little bit of paper left over. So what we're going to do is we're going to stamp first, and I'm just going to put these pieces away, and I'm just going to bring in our couple pieces of our Berry Vanilla. So on the inside of this card, I'm going to take the Pretty Peacock Classic Stampin' Pad, and I'm just going to get the eye acrylic block. And I'm just going to get the stamp set with the 4 birds onto it with the branches. I'm not going to color these in. If you saw my video last week, you'll see that I colored these in. But today I'm just going to leave them as a solid, very vanilla color in the background. So I'm just putting my picture of my birds down on the bottom. And then I'm just going to put my sentiment, "Your friendship means the world to me." And I'm just going to get another block. Let's see. And I'm just going to put that up on top. So you can add flowers around here if you like, but I decided that I'm just going to leave it. And now for this one, while that paper is drying, I'm going to use the bird, the single bird. And I'm just going to get this block. And I'm going to bring out Stampin' Up! Silicone sheet. And I'm going to show you a technique that reverses your stamped image. So I'm going to stamp this bird down here in the corner. And then I'm going to re-ink on the silicone mat. And I'm going to lay the bird down on the silicone mat. And then I'm going to flip it around. And I'm going to lay it onto the paper as if they're kissing. And I'm just going to pat the back of the silicone mat. Now you're not going to get a good true image, but like it's not going to be as crisp as the other side, as you can see here. But it does the trick of reversing your stamp sets. And now I'm just going to put down "We're the best of friends." So I'm just going to bring out another block, and I'm going to ink that up and put this on top. And if you want it to, we can put some flowers on there too as well. If I can find another block. And we can put some flowers. I'm just going to bring out this. We'll do this on the back side. And we can do a couple of flowers around the edge. Of our border. So there we go. And now we'll use that for the inside of our mechanism. So if you want, you can certainly color in your birds, but I'm going to leave them as they are. And if you don't like the image if it's not, get this out. If it's not strong enough for you, you can certainly take your Stampin' Right marker and just go over your lines just a little bit just to sharpen it up. So let me just go this way. Just to sharpen up those lines a little bit. And around the face. So our markers, Stampin' Up! Markers, they're quite, they do a really good job with getting their markers and their blends to match the colors of their ink pads. There we go. So now, let's see if you can see the ink. Or well, let's do this. We'll flip this way, around this way. And now I'm just going to get the Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to put a couple layers of the seal onto our card. Like so. And put it on this one. And we'll put some of this card together here now. So we'll move those away. There we go. So now we'll put our borders onto our card. So I just want to make sure that this side is for this side, because remember we took that little smidgen off. So one side is going to be just a little bit bigger than the other. So this is for this side. And let's see what way the flowers are going. Is this way. So there we go. And we'll bring in these pieces and we'll do the same. Now if you live in Canada and you like the products that Stampin' Up! Has to offer, September is a great month to join up as a demonstrator and join my team, Inspirations for Crafting. Right now for $135 Canadian, you can pick out $165 of product that you can choose yourself and receive $165 worth of product for $135, and that includes shipping and taxes. And this month for September, you only have a few days left, 3 days left. Stampin' Up! Will give you 2 additional stamp sets, some basic rhinestone jewels, and some paper to make 16 cards. So it's right now you're having a savings of well over $73. So the stamp sets, I think that they've got selected is around the $23, $26 mark. So that's 40, let's say 40 or $52 if it says at 26, and then plus your paper and your rhinestones. So that's a savings of over $100 for sure. So if you want to know more information, you can certainly reach out to me. My email address is craftinginspirations@outlook.com, or you can visit my webpage. It's joannejohnson.stampinup.net. So that's JOANNJOHNSON.stampinup.net, and I'll have all that in the how to contact me in the description. So now let's move along to our mechanism. So this is what our card looks like so far. It looks like a gated fold card, but we're going to make this a slider card. So remember our pieces that we cut that was 2 by 4 and scored at 2. So we want to make sure that is scored perfectly and varnished so that it sets really well flat. So we're going to do that with this one as well. And then this piece here, they'll fit in because this was by 4 inches. So then what we're going to take Stampin' Up! Seal Plus, which is a little bit stronger adhesive. And we're going to, I'm putting down 3 layers of this on the back side of our card. So then I'm just going to line that up to the edge and in the center. And what we want to do is we want this to be open, and your score line is going to be in the center, and we're going to have this open on this side, and same thing with this one. So we want to make sure that this opens and have our score line butted up to each other in the center. Now this one is hanging off the edge, so I'm just going to give it a little billy rub on both sides, and then I'm just going to take the paper trimmers or the paper snips, and I'm just going to cut off. My measurement might have been off just a little bit, or I might not have been. It looks like I haven't been over to the edge here all that much. So a little snip will go a long way. So then what we're going to do is we're going to put some more on the backs of these pieces that we just had opened. Then we're just going to lay this down so that it's even. So it looks like you don't have another piece of paper there. I'm going to turn it over and give it another little billy rub. And I'll open it up and give it another little billy rub here. And we can certainly flip it over and give it another little billy rub. So, and then what we're going to do, see how this mechanism works. So where the seam is pointed inside, that's really well. Then what we're going to do is we're going to open it up and put one there and one inside like so, and get it in the middle. I'll get it there. It's much easier once you find where your seam is to. Let's do it this way. Put this one in, and then we're just going to bend this up and put it in like so. So here's a slider card. So I've mails out flat, and then when your guest gets it, I'm just going to color in, brighten up that eye. There we go. And we're going to open this up. You're just going to slide that up and open it like this and put your sentiment here. If you want it to, you can put some very vanilla here so that you can write your sentiment or your little greeting to and from on there. So let's just put this in and put this side in and slide it down. So I thought that was a cute little card, and if you want it to, which I'm going to take So Saffron, and I'm just going to color in our flowers just to brighten them up just a little bit more. And you can certainly add rhinestones to this as well. So just to match the flowers in on the back on the Designer Series paper. So just a quick little color. There. So there we go. And that is our card. Now I'm just going to turn the camera back around. So just give me a moment. Now wasn't that a cute little card? I just want to say once again thank you to Amanda Charlesworth for demonstrating this card. I think she posted it back in June. It was so easy to reproduce, and I think you can do it as well. And I just want to say thank you for watching, and let me know where you're watching from. I'd like to know where my viewers are living to. Just send me a little shout out. I much appreciate it. And remember to hit the like and subscribe button if you like my video, and be notified of any future videos that I will do. So I'm thinking now that we're getting into October, I'm going to start doing some Christmas cards. I've got a number of collection of stamps and sweets from the Stampin' Up's August to December mini catalog. So if you're in Canada and you would like to have a catalog, you can certainly reach out to me. I'll have all the information how to reach me in the description below. And I'll have the measurements to the card in the description as well. So I just want to say thank you for watching and have a good week. Bye-bye.